All right, Rick. Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Rich Maloney, the head coach of Ball State Baseball. How's it going, man?
It's going good, going good. Thanks for having me, Casey.
So, how is this? You've been coaching baseball for a long time, but this is probably one of the most interesting seasons that you've been a part of.
Yeah, that's for sure, Casey. I mean, with the COVID protocols, the uncertainties of when the kids came back to school, all the testing, all the contact tracing, the delay in being allowed to start practices. Yeah, it was definitely a unique situation in a career that I've had over a fair amount of years. I haven't seen anything like it. But I will say this, the resilience of our kids has been amazing. The fact that they've, had to deal with all these different changes, I think ultimately will be a positive in their lifetime because they've been throwing a lot of curveballs and they've had to deal with them. And in the great game of life, that happens to all of us too. So, this has been a learning experience for all of us. I'm just glad, I'm proud of my boys, and certainly, excited for the rest of the season for sure.
Okay, so kind of go through how has the season been going for you guys?
Yeah, it's been good. We knew we had a solid team because we a few years ago, prior to COVID in 2019, we lost the Mid American Conference Championship by a half game, and we were 20-5, so it was a heck of a season. But Central Michigan edged us out; they were 22-5,
Yeah.
and so you got to tip your hats off to them. And but we knew we had most of those guys back. We did lose two high draft picks. First rounder Dre Jameson after that season, and then Kyle Nicholas after last year's shortened season because of COVID. Dre went in the first round, Kyle went in the second round. So those were two key losses. But the rest of the team was back intact. And so you knew that they were used to winning. They had won like 38 or 39 games. And, we knew we'd have a pretty good team. So we started the season. We went out to Arizona, who was highly ranked, and we split with them. We won 2 games on the road, which was really big for our program and our kids. And then later on, we went and played Kentucky, who's currently 18-4, and we beat them 2 out of 3 on their place. So we've had 4 marquee victories, which is pretty cool. On the flip side of it, we've opened up in the MAC with 2 series wins. We're 6-2, and so we're off to a good start, but there's a long season ahead. So we've got to grind it out and continue to get better.
Okay, let me ask you something about, playing non-conference opponents. I know that other conferences have not, are not playing them, the Big Ten isn't. What advantage is it to be able to play non-conference opponents?
Well, it's huge just to play, period. I mean, after you have a year where you're all excited about your season, you think you're going to have a great team, a great season, and then it gets taken from you. So all the guys, just the fact of competing, period. First and foremost, being thankful for the opportunity to compete again. That's first. Second of all, to be able to play a full schedule. I think the Mid-American Conference, our commissioner, our presidents, and our athletic directors really did everything in their minds to try to make this a complete season after what the boys lost last year.
Yeah.
And, hats off to all of them for really seeing that and wanting to play a complete season, because, the boys lost a lot. There was four of our seniors didn't get to come back. So their careers ended last year, unfortunately. And, but for the other boys, after going through having the season taken away, the importance of being able to play a full season. So playing outside competition out of your league is what we do every year. And so this was real important to be able to do that. And then to play, I'm thankful to Beth Gatz and President Merns for allowing us to travel to Arizona, because that was, some people may have said that, they wouldn't have allowed that for our boys during the beginning of the season to go all the way out there. But we're thankful for that opportunity. And look, we created memories of a lifetime. These kids will never forget that experience in Arizona and the games that they were able to compete and win. What great memories for these guys for a lifetime.
So, kind of really going into, with with conference play not being able to have a tournament, what's that going to be like? What wrench does that throw into everything?
Yeah, that's interesting because back in the Mid-American Conference history, there's been times where there hasn't been a tournament.
Yeah.
And then the conference champion, regular season champion win. I mean, ultimately, the team that wins over the grind, if you're playing everybody, the team whoever wins during that grind's the best team.
Yeah.
Tournaments often, don't reward that team. It's hard to win a tournament. It's who gets hot in that particular weekend. And so not always the best team is the one that comes out of that, in my humble opinion. I think when you play a 40-game schedule, you're going to find out who the best is. Now, this year's a little unique in the fact that there could be COVID protocols that affect the outcome. So if somebody loses 4 or 5 of their key players in a weekend and then loses that weekend and loses the season by a game or a half game or something, that could have an effect. But playing that amount of a grind, should determine who the best team is. And but it's challenging because some of the teams won't be in the race come halfway through the season, and how they handle that as a group will be a challenge for all the coaches who are involved, because there's nothing to look forward to in that regard.
Yeah.
So the tournament gives you optimism all the way throughout the season and gives you a chance. Typically, the last seeds in the tournament are determined on the last weekend. So that's the value of a tournament. Unfortunately, when you're in a one bid league, the tournament doesn't always give you the best representative. So, for example, a few years ago in 2013, I think it was 2013, it might have been 2012, Kent made the World Series. And Kent just edged out to win the tournament. If they didn't win the tournament, they would have been out. They wouldn't have got an at-large bid. And therefore, we would have never seen at that time a Mid-American Conference team in this era, in this era, make it to the Omaha, because we could have missed out on that. So, and they were clearly the best team. So that's the oxymoron between a tournament and not having a tournament.
So I know that rosters are bigger this year. A lot of the seniors that got a chance to come back. What is it? Is your roster bigger this year? What are the estimates towards that? How many guys stayed from? How many seniors stayed?
Yeah, we had 5 guys stay, and we chose not to recruit a few spaces. So therefore, we have a roster of 37. The NCAA normally allows 35. This year, they allowed for all the seniors of anybody. If you had a certain number of seniors that lost their year in COVID, they could all come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, and that was based, the NCAA said that, but then it was based on your institution and how many they would allow you to have. We chose to have 37. And so we're not very much over the 35 that normally in a normal year is allowed by the NCAA. But like I said, some of our seniors weren't able to come back, decided not to come back, finished their schooling and were done, and went into the business world. 5 of the boys did come back, and I just chose not to recruit a few of the spots we had originally available to us. So we stuck with 37. Now there's some teams carrying more in our league, but it was based on individual preference.
Yeah. So, coming up this weekend, I know you have a few more MAC series coming up. What's it going to be like? And baseball's just such a weird game, and it's you never know what's going to happen. What do you want to see out of your team in the next few weeks?
Well, that's so, Casey, it's nice that you say that. I mean, what's great about our great game is on any given day, you watch in the major leagues or you watch in college baseball, anybody can win. The separation in our sport isn't as great in some of the other as it is in some of the other sports. Like where a team who has more talent in some sports, it's quite visible based on physicality and such. The great game of baseball doesn't affect size and so some of those things aren't factors. So this year, I think we got the greatest platform in college baseball that we've ever had, because we have a class of a group that stayed in college a year, so they're a year more mature. We have a group that also, incoming freshmen were coming in, and then we had with that being said, there's more depth. So you have two different classes. And then there was only 5 rounds in the draft. So we lost one person. Central Michigan lost their star shortstop. But outside of that, no one else in the league, I don't think, lost anybody. So therefore, each team has more depth and maturity than they've ever had. And that's throughout all of college baseball. So the product of college baseball is so much better. And so what we're hoping for with our veteran leadership is just to continue to grow as a team and to continue to get better and continue to compete. These guys have goals and dreams, and this is their last hurrah, and they've got 8 weeks left in the conference season to show their talent off and see where that takes us.
Yeah. All right. Rich Maloney, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Casey. Good luck to you.